because the Attorney General is now headed to court, a matter which has been of interest to quite a number of you, having to do with the NSS ghost name scandal. Guests will join us in studio pretty shortly, but we'll also, amongst many things, seek to detail what the account of the Attorney General is in terms of the charges as filed against the two individuals. And if you're another listener of Johnny's Bite, you would have gotten a good preview of what it is that we're looking at in terms of what the Attorney General believes to be scheming by these respective individuals, particularly Gifty Owari. Matters of which will now be determined in the court of law.
3FM Sunrise.
In the lead up
in the
to
NASA service scandal,
the initial stages of oral and how much it has continued to generate a lot of attention, he's been addressing news conferences, and I wonder why he stopped, because some of us really were enjoying the details he was bringing to us in terms of what facts he's been able to compile against individuals in whatever case. But let's hear from Dr. Dominic Ayeni speak to the matters in relation to the NSS ghost names now that he's decided, or the state is ready now to be in court. Let's hear from him exactly what it is that the state had found, and then we return into the studio where our guests are joining us.
In the NASA service scandal, 8 suspects have been interrogated, and a good number of them have started singing. They've, they are cooperating with our no, they've started singing, literally. Yeah? So we will give you details of their songs at the appropriate time. In view of the fact that, so indeed, we now have evidence of payments that were made into the accounts of the top executives of the National Service by vendors, private vendors, and staff of the scheme. We also have evidence that in November 2024, and listen to this carefully, the CEO of the National Service Scheme and others paid a Ghanaian MP to kill the story in the media and to defend them. Now this is a developing story, and more will come out very soon. For instance, we have conclusively established that after collecting these funds, some of the suspects, such as Gezi, Nyako, and Othing, handed them over to suspect Osei Asibe Entry in cash, and on some occasions deposited the cash into his bank account. Osei Asibe was the chief executive, the director general of the National Service Authority. Some directors, such as Gifty Owari Mensah, created and executed a meticulously detailed plan using NSP, National Service Personnel Allowances, as security to obtain a loan of 30,698,218 cedis, 69 pesos, from the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, at an interest rate of 23%. She achieved these results by using other people's information to register a company called Blocks of Life Consult without their knowledge or permission. Subsequently, she presented Blocks of Life Consult through a middleman in the person of Maxwell Akwesi Ofori-Minta to an official of the Agricultural Development Bank, and enlisting her husband, Mr. Peter Mensah, a lawyer, to act as one of the directors or representatives of the representative of the said company. She told ADB that the company specialized in supplying home appliances to national service personnel and proposed that ADB finance the company to enable it to supply these items on hire purchase basis to the service personnel, with the NSA being responsible for handling the deductions and repayments. During the period, suspect Gifty was the acting director, Gifty Oware Mensah was the acting director of the authority. However, on the marketplace of the authority, there was no indication that Blocks of Life was a registered vendor. Within 2 service years, suspect Gifty Oware Mensah used a total of 9,934 ghost names to misappropriate the aforementioned funds. Investigation further established that after ADB transferred the funds into the account of the company, she subsequently transferred the funds into 4 different company accounts with the names of Amiacom, Scaffold, Oche, and Aristo Logistics and Trading. It was further established that suspect Gifty is a director of Amiacom, and Scaffold Company Limited belongs to suspect Abraham Gazi. That between 3rd March 2023 and 24th May 2024, suspect Gifty transferred 22,925,518 Ghana cedis and 69 pesos to Amiacom, 1 million Ghana cedis to Scaffold, 1,572,000 Ghana cedis to Oche, and 5,200,000 Ghana cedis to Aristo Logistics and Training. We have this on record. We have all the bank details. We have everything, in the docket. Investigations, however, established that Eric Nyako, from 2017 until April 2024, and Idrisu Ibn Abubakar, April 2024 to December 2024, were responsible for preparing and transmitting NSP payroll data to GIPS for payment of allowances with the approval of the former NSA Director Generals, Mustafa Yusuf, who is now an MP, Gifty Oware Abuaje, acting from February 2021 to September 2021, and Osea Sibe Enchwe, September 2021 to January 2025.
That's the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, addressing the media, and I'm just mentioning that we miss hearing a lot more in terms of these details. There's a rumble in the jungle. He promised the good people of Ghana. We're yet to get that detail from him as well. But let me this morning introduce into the studio Engineer Theophilus Kojo Jimega Jr. Is also a private legal practitioner. Member of the NDC, joining us this morning for our conversation. Counsel, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
By God's grace, we're doing well. I trust that you are too.
I'm fine, thank you.
Fantastic. We will get into it, but perhaps we want to run through some of the summary of the brief facts as we have it for Gifty Oware. Helen, maybe I'll start and then. So the first, and for our viewers on Facebook, you have the privilege of being able to walk through this with us. Gifty Oware being the former Deputy Executive Director of the NSA. Let's move on to the second fact. She established an online platform called the Marketplace to ease financial burdens on NSS personnel by allowing them to apply for loans and purchase products on high purchase to registered vendors. She also payments were made by deductions from the allowances of service personnel from source. As Deputy Executive Director, the accused had oversight of the Finance, Audit and Procurement Department. It's quite interesting positions, I'll be very honest, and was responsible for approving merchants or vendors on the Marketplace platform. Now, in February 2025, the NIB launched investigations into allegations of ghost names, stealing, corruption and money laundering at the NSA, and the Investigations revealed that between February and March, the accused allegedly informed officials of ADB, that's our Greek Development Bank, that her private company Blocks of Life Consult had an agreement with the NSA to sell products on hire purchase to service personnel, leading to suspected acts of corruption and financial impropriety. And so these are some of the details. And I mentioned that if you followed us on Johnny's Bite, you would have gotten a bit more in terms of the facts. But let me start with counsel on the decision now to go to court, because that's been long in waiting. There's been a lot of Ghanaians who've asked the question, what has the Attorney General been waiting for? Why have we failed to prosecute individuals? Finally, we're in court. Do we have an understanding as to why now is the right time that we're headed to court? Because some of these facts we knew as far back as when the Attorney General addressed us as a country.
Yeah, good morning again. Good morning to your viewers on Facebook. Good morning to your listeners, and good morning to my good people of Ohwe. We had a legal vacation. The legal vacation started 1st of August and ended, is ending this week. So new legal year will took off last Monday. Basically, a day after the call to the bar. Usually that's what happens. So that is a period for which the AG, if he had filed anything, will still just lie on the files or at the courts, and no activity really will take place. Number two, if you read the charge sheet, you will see that the charge sheet is so tight that without prejudging, the only way they can get out of this is maybe they can win media war. But winning in court out of what we have seen and read yesterday will be extremely difficult.
You're certain of this fact?
Yes, I mean, based on the charge sheet we have, assuming the charge sheet is the truth, which on the face of it, you take it to be the truth. Number two, so based on that, you will expect that a lot of work would have gone into going for the beat that will tie the person very strongly to the crimes. You also notice that with the facts, there could be other offenses that could be taken out of this and charged with. But they decide to go for the ones that they can secure conviction quickly and very effectively. They went in for largely causing financial loss and stealing. Now, so stealing is just taking something which belongs to somebody with the intention that the owner will not have access to it. And if you look at it, that is so simple to prove. And once you are gotten that, the punishment is up to 25 years. A fine to 25 years, a day to 25 years. And if they are able to secure conviction and get 10 to 15 years, largely do people get maximum punishment anyway. Once you're able to get that, I think that their duty is achieved. So a lot would have gone into preparing the charge sheet. In fact, having read the charge sheet yesterday, I asked myself, was I really taught how to draft a charge sheet? Because this looks a bit so tight that you have very little room to wiggle. So all this might be the reasons why, having announced to us for a while, the AG took time. I am just surprised that those who were bashing the AG, I was thinking that by now they would have been saying, hallelujah, hallelujah, we have something in court.
Right.
But for some reason, they all went to bed. And let's be fair to the AG. There is the SkyTrain one that is also ongoing. There's the Signal Bureau one and this National Service one. And you notice that a lot of people, all that they needed from this government is to retrieve some of this. So those who were shouting on the rooftops about this, now I think they should just go back to the rooftops and say, hallelujah, we have people in court. My fear as well is what happens in court. Perhaps they are on police inquiry bails now, but the amounts involved will mean that the sureties to be, the bail conditions are also going to be one that will be so tight that If I were their lawyers, I would be advising that let us be preparing seriously for sureties as we go ahead to court.
Counsel, I wanted to go back quickly to this issue that you raised about those who were critiquing the Attorney General's style. A lot had been said about the press conferences which he had put on, and he was informing Ghanaians about the status of these various allegations that have been put forth. I believe it was Austin Bracco Powers. He was here sometime last week and we were having this discussion, and I think he'll be able to join us via phone at some point. And he was of the opinion that the AG was maybe jumping the gun and was maybe painting some persons black in the media, courting public disaffection for these people. And I put this forward to him that the Attorney General can also be described as the chief prosecutor, am I right?
Yes, you're right.
And so if he takes that adversarial stance, can he be faulted for that? Because as a prosecutor, you also believe that you have your airtight evidence and you've got an airtight case. I was hoping that you would weigh in on that for me. Is that a wrong perception to have, that the AG has every right to take that stance during press conferences because he's seeking to also secure a conviction?
It is only in maybe our jurisdiction that you don't necessarily hear the AG talking about cases. You watch CNN, you watch Sky News, etc. They make arrests and they will tell you, apart from mentioning names, they will tell you a middle-aged man, 43 years, had been arrested on suspicion of so and so. Will be parading the person before courts tomorrow. Until then, we have no further comments to make. They do it everywhere. Now, the AG, and when things like that happen, even people who are on trial for murder, rape, etc., when they are acquitted, the judges say you go away with your image intact. They always say it in other jurisdictions. So I don't know why we can't say it here. Number two, the judges live in the society with us. The judges don't come from space to say we have just arrived. A case has been presented. We knew nothing about it. We are now going to handle the case. No, the judges live with us here. So they know what goes on. It is along that line that when you see situations where there is a rise in, let's say, armed robbery, and someone is convicted, they try to apply the maximum sanctions to serve as a deterrent to others in society, and also to show how society abhors such a behavior. So the idea that the AG is giving us information, it is media, I don't know, maybe it's a drama, etc. No, I think it happens everywhere. And the judges also see it. They know what happens. So for me, it's neither here nor there. Now I'm inviting them. Now the AG is going to court. And I believe, I belong to the NDC Lawyers Fraternity. The AG met us. And we are aware of some of the things that are going to happen in the near future. You see, I gave this example. There was a day I visited Deputy AG, Justice Remsai, Honorable. And the files near his desk were as tall as his desk. And he says, bro, I need to read all this, and I am back, and I need to be doing other things. I need to meet the investigators, and these are all part of the oral cases. So they need time. And you see, one would argue that why don't you recruit more people to help you? Now, you need to recruit more people and build their trust within them to be able to do certain things so that they don't go to court and throw your cases away, etc., because there's a presumption that any official act done is presumed to be done right. So if they go and do it, or is done regularly, so if they go and do something that will affect you and you will carry the bucket, you like to do it with care. So for now, please, let them join me. Let us applaud the AG, Honorable Dominic. I can't pronounce this. Akuritinga Ayine. Yes, I think that he's doing a fantastic job, and let us applaud him.
But are you wary of the fact that oral has the potential to make or break the NDC and its fortunes in the upcoming elections? In fact, when we open phone lines every morning, a vast majority of the individuals who call make the case and make it strongly that they are not seeing oral play out in full as expected? I've heard you mention that the Deputy Attorney General, for instance, says you visited him, his office dockets piled up and all of that. You think that is justifiable enough excuse for the Ghanaian people who trusted and believed that persons who have stolen from us, as you told us, you have these loot returned and the persons prosecuted as well?
There is nobody in NDC. I mean, let me use the word NDC to mean those who move the NDC. There's nobody in NDC who is not aware that one of our Waterloos will be oral. We are so much aware. There are persons walking around in the country now. They are not looking for jobs. They are not looking for roads. They are not looking for anything. All that they are looking for is that retrieve the loot forest, and they are okay. So NDC is fully aware of that. And indeed, His Excellency the President has said it on so many occasions that he takes briefing from the Honorable Attorney General on what is going on with oral. So NDC is fully aware of what is going on with oral. Now, you see, oral was just information gathering. So now you need to sieve the information to see which ones are just maybe based on emotion, based on mere suspicion, and which ones have grounds for which you get evidence and take it forward. And there are sometimes you watch certain things, they are morally wrong, but they are legally right. So someone may have sent something to the oral team which looks morally wrong, but legally right. You can't do anything about it. So in any case, if we are able to get a little bit out of something that we have, it's better than getting nothing. And take alone what we have now with the National Service team. Yesterday, let me be a bit funny here. Have you noticed that the figure that Gifty is alleged to have
is in the regions of 30-something million?
38.4.
Yeah.
That looks like Baumia's percentage in the election.
Council.
Yes.
This is a very mischievous thing. It's a very mischievous thing to say this morning.
I am telling you, just
telling those the result was like 40-something.
No, it was after adjustment. So perhaps when this is adjusted, we'll get to 40. But initially it was 38 point something. It looks just in the range. Anyway, let's go. I mean, 38 million Ghana cedis. Convert that to dollars. Use 10 cedis maybe as the exchange rate. That is like $3.8 million. How much did we go to the IMF for? This would have plugged a lot of holes. And to think about the fact that that was a vehicle used to allegedly take monies that were to be used for the National Service personnel, it beats the mind. It's beyond the pale. So if anybody in NDC is saying we are not aware of the impact of oral on our fortunes, the person is not living in Ghana. We are so much aware of it. Maybe I will not jump ahead of the Attorney General, but I think there are plans, if it's needed, that they will get more personnel to prosecute these cases. And this is just one or two. And you see, the AG, I was on a platform with him recently. He said even in his constituency, people were bashing him, that you are taking time. What is happening? Now,
it means he's hearing the criticism.
Of course, yes. And he said he spent the whole day trying to explain why they are taking time. Remember, let's go back to history. NDC had the Ghana 50. We went to court.
That's right.
Then the case was dismissed with the speed of lightning, and we were all bashed. Now, our founder then, Jerry Rawlings, was so angry that, hey, you did all this to let the MPP guys go off the hook. Even some of our own people did the same thing. So let us take time and we do this correctly. That is all. It's better than to rush to court and be thrown away. And you know that once somebody you take somebody to court and the person is thrown away, the double jeopardy rule is there. The person says, hey, I was once acquitted of the same thing, so you can't take me there again. Or I was convicted of the same thing, you can't take me there again. Or you had the opportunity to add this to the charges for which I was acquitted and you refused to add it. So the court should say that, hey, it's the same thing. Because litigation must come to an end. You can't, in the interest of the public.
You can't litigate
forever. So I think that let us celebrate the little things that it will appear that the AG is doing. This is a huge one. If you combine the Gifty one to the
it was something I was coming to. His is 14 counts.
Yeah.
14 counts of stealing, money laundering, causing financial loss to the state, and the causing financial loss to the state is a bit replete in terms of the charges. Stealing as well appears quite a number of times. Off the top of my count, stealing appears about 5 times, causing financial loss as well, about 5 times. Then there's the money laundering charge as well. There are those who ask the question, the national learning in all of this, in terms of not having this repeat itself again. This has resulted in the delay of a start of service year for personnel this year. Is it the case that all is tightly sealed now, that we will not see a repeat of this? Because if you go onto the streets, the word is that, this thing there, both parties have been doing it too, but it looks like one side may have done it too much, reason for which there is this uproar which we're seeing.
And in fact, Martin, not to even slight talk you, there's also this idea that we become so desensitized because 500 million Ghana cedis at an exchange rate of 10 to 1, 50 million. Do you know what 50 million USD can do, even in the country of its origin?
The average American will not see 50 million cedis their entire life.
$500,000 cry. And it's like we throw these figures away, but I don't know whether we are able to bring home what even $1 million can do to a community. If you bring $1 million to Assume, where I'm from in the eastern region, it can change the destiny of everybody in Assume today.
$1 million is a lot
but
of money.
the figures, I think we've become so desensitized. 500 million. If you give me,
calm down,
$1,000.
if you give me $1,000 just today, you've changed my year. But it's like we've become so desensitized. Big money. 500 million Ghana cedis. How many years, Magna, do you have to work to make even 5 million?
I sort of want to agree with you to an extent on us as a person. You see, you are asking, and let me start with yours. At a stage, I felt that the current administration appears a bit boring. It appears boring because we have not seen scandals. And people are waiting for scandals, they are not happening. So there are two things. Either they are good at covering everything they are doing bad, or they are doing everything good. And as a member of the NDC, knowing that His Excellency, the President John Dramani Mahama, wants to leave a legacy, I will go for the fact that they are doing things good. Because there was a time I was on a platform with my senior Edujita Mekulu.
Right.
And someone made an argument. He asked the question, do you know what that would do to the legacy of the president? Let us think about that whilst we go by our daily jobs. So to me, I'll say that the legacy of the president is also one thing that is keeping a lot of the appointees in check. But the bigger question going back is, why do we have to wait until the end of an administration to be able to see these things happening? It is because the people who are suffering from the effect of this, people who are benefiting, are all enjoying the pain and the happiness. That is one reason. So somebody who is there, who is supposed to say, hey, let us stop doing this, might also be benefiting from it. And he also made a comment that we are so desensitized with the whole thing that nobody cares any longer. But it is time we begin to gather. If we begin to gather the persons, the cities will take care of themselves. So to me, any appointee out there listening or watching this thing and thinking about being that, I'll leave office before they might know this, better have a second thought.
And for service year going forward, we've had the new boss Ruth Delacedo speak about a new portal which is coming through, because we cannot speak of the ills and everything about this ghost name scandal which makes Ghanaians angry and their stomachs churn, and not ask the question, has there been any national learning? Has there been anything that we can confidently say has been done such that this does not repeat itself?
I think one of the things they mentioned from National Service is the fact that they have a new portal. And as you indicated, it's one of the reasons why the onboarding of the next batch of National Service is taking time. Previously, this is not the first time we are having the National Service scandal. I think just before President Mahama won office, there was a National Service scandal, which we all went. Thought that was yes.
There were individuals who were named who should have been prosecuted, but we didn't get conclusion on that matter.
Top of my head, I don't know what happened to that case, because it was not just at the top; it was all across the country. That people even registered a lot of people in their district who never existed. So I would have thought that would have been a landing point for us to do it. But this time it appeared that they even used the very system that was used, that is supposed to stop the people from duplicating. They used the very same system. So I am praying that the current administration, the National Service boss and her two deputies, will rather use different methods to be sure that no more siphoning of the taxpayers' money is done the way we have seen it in the last administration of President Nana Akufo-Addo. And let me throw the jab here. If we are spending this amount of money going into allegedly one person's pocket and allegedly going to a second person's pocket, how much would the others somewhere that we don't know yet would have had in their pockets? It's a shame that those who presided over this type of thing today should be telling us they were better managers of the economy than the one we are seeing today.
I'll hold you then, get onto the phone lines. Austin Bracco Powers is private legal practitioner. He should have been with us in studio this morning, but we got the indication he's had to be in court as well and has joined us via the phone. Counsel, I appreciate you joining us this morning. I trust that you're well.
Thank you, Mawuena. How are you?
I'm also well. I could be better if $500 million was being used, 500 million cedis rather, was being used to the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian. But I'm sure you've seen the respective charges against the two individuals. Against Mr. Osasibi, 14 count. Against Gift Yoware, 5 counts. You've seen the charges, the evidence that the Attorney General is seeking to lead in courts to prosecute these two. Your thoughts on it, and perhaps I want to push you and say, good enough grounds to secure a conviction?
Yes, Mawuena, let me say a warm morning to your listeners. I've seen, like you were articulated, I've seen the charge sheet which contain the two charge sheets which contain the charges, and I think this is a major boost for the oral agenda of this government, because in fact we have been anticipating something like this. I'm particularly hoping that at least we will see a string of charges being leveled against a number of former MPP appointees, but it's been slow. But that notwithstanding, I think we are beginning to see some actions being taken by the government. With regards to the charges, the thing is that I think we should not be too quick in arriving at a conclusion, because when you look at the charges leveled against Victor Wari in particular, and I didn't see clearly, because like you were articulated, the 5 counts. One has to do with stealing. One has to do there are 2 causing financial loss to the state. We have using public office for private profit. Then we also have another charge. And I think the charges, if you read carefully, the charges were born out of a loan facility she took from ADB. From the fact, it is not clear if the National Service Authority paid back those loans, because she took a loan facility, the National Service apparently guaranteed, and there was over 6 million interest on that loan, over 31 million Ghana cedis loan facility. It's not clear. The fact itself, the fact does not state whether the loan has been repaid or the NSA is paying the loan. It's not clear. And the government is saying, and the charges, according to Attorney General, the loan was secured based on the promise that she had, the company had contracted or had been contracted to provide services for national service personnel by reason of hire purchase agreement. The fact itself is not the fact as contained in the charges and the charge sheet are not clearly set out. And for me, it's worrying. If you want to nail somebody, I think the fact must be clear, and you must nail the person right on the head. But like you said, it's always said, this is just the beginning. I'm sure the major drama will play out in court. But we are looking at, I think I've always said that, and I continue to maintain that these people are innocent. And the fact contained on the charge sheet, as well as the charges, do not in themselves constitute conviction, or do not in themselves constitute total sentence or anything. We need to give them an opportunity. They have an opportunity to have their say in court. And for me, that is what beautifies the system that we have. So, Mawuena, it is too early in the day to arrive at a conclusion. I think in the end, we will see whether the AG will succeed or not. But I think we should not jubilate yet. This is good for the oral agenda or oral program of the government, but it is too early in the day for us to jubilate.
Too early in the day for us to jubilate because what? You think that not enough grounds exist based on the charge sheets that we've seen, or let's just leave it to chance as to whether or not the Attorney General will be able to prosecute this very well?
I mean, when you if you monitor the media commentary regards to this NSA issue, particularly about the ghost names, in fact, the picture was created that the situation was too dire that if the Attorney General, file the charges in court, he is going to get conviction immediately. But I think it's a battle that Attorney General is inviting himself into. This is a major battle, because I was hoping for something damning, but for me, I think it's an open. Someone was saying an open system where the accused person has an opportunity to also rebut. This is an allegation, mere allegation. This, in fact, we need to put on record that these are mere allegations leveled against them. They do not constitute facts. In fact, it is the duty of the court to determine if they are facts or if they are true. So the determination of the court will let us know if indeed they are facts or not. But for now, these are mere allegations leveled by the state against a Ghanaian or a private individual. It is too early, like I said, because the Attorney General already had condemned and has convicted Gisowai and others in the media.
Is condemn a good enough word to use? Because simply put, there are those who make the argument that he was informing the good people of Ghana of the details the NIB has been able to come by as a result of investigations into the matter, and he was speaking to his confidence as to the facts presented before him, which is the basis upon which he's headed to court.
Well, you and I have had this conversation over and over again, and I maintain that if you want to, in fact, the public has a right to know, but in letting them know, you must not draw hasty conclusions, particularly when you know the way the court system operates. That it is not your responsibility to condemn an accused person. It is a duty of the court, and damaging the person in the media and later sending the person to court. What if in the end the person is not convicted or you are unable to secure conviction? You've already damaged the person. I've always said that the Attorney General has a right to let Ghanaians know what is going on, but he must control the emotions. He must control his feelings, and he must control his ability to appeal to the grassroots. The thing is that the grassroots must know, but you, first of all, you are a lawyer, and you know lawyers, how we speak. We don't speak when we don't have the clear fact before us. And you cannot say that I'm going to, this one, they are going to succeed. I'm going to convey them. When you know that you are not the final arbiter. In fact, the Constitution is clear on this. It's clear on this, that it is the judiciary that has a final say, and neither the executive nor Parliament has a final say when it comes to the exercise of the judicial powers of this state. So I think the Attorney General usually is moved by emotions and the need to appease or to please the grassroots of his party. But the truth is that we've had so many Attorney Generals claiming that they are watertight cases, yet they went to court and lost those cases. I think we must manage, and I've said, Mawuena, we must be able to manage the expectation of Ghanaians. Because when you tell them, when you sell to them that I'm going to convey this person, and you end up not doing that, they'll think you failed. This is because you didn't communicate to them the reality. The reality is that you have an allegation against some individuals or former public officials. Those allegations will have to be tested in court, and the judge will have to determine if indeed they are weightier to receive or to be sanctioned by the powers of the state. If not, the judge will let them go. So it's about balancing. But be that may, Mawuena, I think the Attorney General has a duty. He has to manage the expectation and also let the people know. He must be able to play those things. He must be able to balance them carefully. Other than that, he will be raising expectations that to the rooftop. And when he's unable to meet it, the people will feel that he has failed. And in fact, that is why many people believe that the ORA is not gathering steam. It is because they promised, they made high-falutin promises. Then when it came to delivery, they are slow in delivering. That's the issue. Manage expectations. So I feel like I said, Mawuena, these are mere allegations. It will be tested in court, and we are hoping that the accused, the lawyers for the accused will also come to the party well prepared to also battle with the state.
Let me bring in Mr. Jimaga again, Engineer Jimaga again, and that's the argument that you should be managing expectations and that it is not as watertight as you may want us to believe, because you've alluded to that fact when you began your submission this morning, that when you went through the charge sheet, you were even wondering if you could write such a charge sheet yourself, considering how tight it is, and you do not see how the accused persons can wriggle themselves out of this. Barack Power says, let's manage expectation because anything can happen in court.
Yes, my senior there will agree with me as well that if the facts don't support the charge, you move to get the accused persons discharged. If the facts don't support the charge, so let us wait and see if the facts don't support the charge. Then I got confused whether he was talking about Gifty or he was talking about Mr. Sibe, because I think Gifty is the one that has the loan issue.
Yes, Gifty has a loan issue with
and I went back quickly to read. I mean, if he goes through the facts, I mean, the loan was acquired and transferred into a personal account or a company for which he's a director. So it means the purpose for acquiring the loan was for the national service personnel. And it was now moved into another account, so you have denied the persons who were originally supposed to benefit from the loan the ability or the access to the loan. So with all respect to my colleague there, I believe he is aware. Now, yes, there are instances that the AGs tell us that they have watertight cases and they go to court and they don't secure conviction. I want to put on record that with the sort of things I've heard from the current AG and the sort of team he's working with, and knowing that how high the stakes are, for now, I think that let us give them that benefit of the doubt that they have a watertight case. And yes, I agree with him. The oral was thrown out there. Everybody was happy. It is because of happenings within society that has made everybody feel like, hey, these people are doing ABC, so let us go after them. And you remember I mentioned it, that there are certain things that are morally wrong but legally right. So we might see certain things that way, but they were all lumped into the oral thing. That's why I said that the problem with the AG is that they need to sieve emotions morality, etc., from legal issues to be able to arrive at charging people. So that, to that extent, I agree with my colleague that is needed. And that has been one of the reasons why people feel that the oral is not achieving a lot. But now that we have seen that the oral has started coming in place, I want him to join me again to say, and he did it from the beginning, that let us wait for it, but I think that they are achieving something.
Right, and I will proceed so that we'll try and bring this conversation. We have another leg of a conversation we want to have having to do with the Ketekrachi boat accident. On oral and the expectation going forward, there are a number of cases many individuals look forward to that we can't get closure, if we can call it that, on these matters. One of such is the All-African Games and the expenditure associated with it, amongst many other things. We've seen the Sky Train is in court already. We've seen the National Signals Bureau as well in court. In terms of managing expectation, which the both of you have spoken to, and seeing to which that persons are prosecuted, how do we proceed going forward? I'll come back to recoveries just briefly. Let me start off with you, Braco Powers.
Yes, Mawuena, it's clear, and I agree with my learned colleague that we are all looking for accountability. In fact, that should be the rallying point for Ghanaians to believe again in the political system of this country. But I have always said, and he shares the same sentiment, that Tony Deno has the right to let the people know what is going on. But he must be able to also control his emotions so that people will not buy into things. Particularly, you see, you'll be communicating with people who may not understand the intricacies of the court system. And they will believe that, oh, this one you are going for the full horn, but later you end up not going for the jugular. But, you see, Mawuena, the thing is, like you were articulated, there are a number of cases that have been filed. The Sky Train case, we have, I'm yet to see the All-African Games case in court, because particularly I've been rooting for that case. I think the way the games were managed in terms of the finances and other things, I want to see some accountability, because we cannot have, it can't be business as usual. If the people, and I want to see the former sports minister being put before court and let him account for his stewardship, because the way the games were managed in terms of finance and treatment of even sportsmen and women, I think some people have a lot of questions. The government has a lot of questions to ask, and some people have a lot of answers to give. So I'm hoping that we will see some other high-profile cases in court. The legal year has commenced. The Attorney General has no reason again to say that we are on legal vacation. The legal year has commenced. He has to bring all the cases there, and let's see what will happen. Because we just want the right thing to be done. Let's set the right tone so that tomorrow, and you see, Mawuena, it is important. The government must not only be interested in prosecuting political enemies, or let me say their opponents. Let's see some action also against some NDC members. Already 2 NDC members have been referred to UCO. And the communication in regards to that issue has been dodgy. The Attorney General today says the docket has not been brought to me. Later he says some other people had also filed a petition. Then later he said this. I think they are not trying to speak to the issue. What has happened to those cases? Are we going to see those gentlemen put before a court of competent jurisdiction, or is it going to be business as usual, or all talk, no action? For those 2 cases, I'm particularly interested in that, because we must not communicate to Ghanaians that we are only interested in our political opponents. When in-house, there are some people who are undermining or doing things to undermine the effectiveness and the progress of this government. So for me, Mawuena, I want to see a balanced string of actions before the court, not a one-sided.
Mr. Jimeka.
With all respect to my my brother over there. I think communication about the two NDC members had been straight. I mean, the AG, I can't recall saying that the docket had not yet been brought to him. The investigation is not over, so the docket cannot be brought to the AG. I was at the presidency during the CSOs on Galamsey issue, where the Honorable AG talked about the fact that new developments are emerging. There are other petitions associated. So that is being looked at and will be worked on. Look, let's be clear here. The president is focused on getting a clean image and delivering for the people of Ghana. I can assure you, Council, that will be done. If those two need to be prosecuted, they will be prosecuted. That I can assure you. So, but go beyond those two. Some of the routes that we have uncovered within the last 8 years, are they happening now? That is where I want to be. Look, I listened to my brother, Professor Bessa White, talking about some of the work that they are doing with SIGA to make sure that state enterprises are operating within the law and by the dictates of whatever act sets them up. I think those are some of the things we need to look at and maybe check to see what they are telling us is rather happening on the ground. But again, you will notice that at the beginning, I talk about the fact that this administration appears to be boring because we can't see the scandals. Granted that what we knew previously about other administration, what is happening that we can't see the scandals? Is it that the scandals are not happening or they are good at covering all the scandals? There must be a reason. And that reason for me, being a positivist, I would say that it is the fact that they are doing well. Now, again, Council, I want to assure you that the current AG, though they have a lot of work at their hand, there are certain incidents of the past that they cannot close their eyes on. No, they can never do that. And then you mentioned the former sports minister. There were a number of issues that he's also involved in, even part of the national service team. He was called in one of them. If you look at the one from the Media Foundation for West Africa, etc., they mention his name. Those things have not yet even come up. We are talking about the ones that people have taken loans, people have taken money, etc. But the ones that they have been duplication and ghost names have not yet come up.
And all of that are going to
yes,
come up.
All of that will come up. But what I told you from the beginning is that, you see, if you look at these two, the charges that have come up, assuming they are bringing all those in now, it will be difficult to get conviction because you have an important type of prosecution that you get this, you get or salad type of prosecution. So they went for the very narrow and straight one. That is all from the beginning. So you can, I mean, you took money on behalf of me, you used the money. You have stolen my money, simple. That's why they go for, and you see that the charges are the ones that, to me, if you look at it carefully, are the ones that are tight, that you can secure conviction quickly. Assuming they are successful at securing conviction in this one, what next? You're already inside there. The others, you'll be able to cooperate. That will be a good strategy. I hope I've made my point to you.
Let's talk recoveries. 500 million cedis, 30-something plus million cedis, 38 million. There are others where monies have gone into different directions. Prosecutions have started, but the promise was to recover all loot. Where are we in terms of the recovery, particularly on this NSS ghost names? Or we're just seeking to prosecute and then they'll return and come and enjoy the booty?
No, I don't think that will happen. For example, if you look at the one that was charged with money laundering, the law states that you recover between 300 and 500% of whatever was laundered. So if the person is found guilty, that will be part of the things that the court will have to make an order for their recovery. You cannot start to recover now when the persons are in court. You see, when the AG mentioned the idea of negotiating based on at least getting 60% of whatever goes in, people were saying, oh, if I still 100 cedis, I can keep 60 somewhere. Then if you meet me, I say, hey, you can have 60. I keep the 40 and I go on. That has generated a lot of noise. And even among the NDC grassroots that, hey, go for everything. Even if we get more than the 100%, go for it. So I think that let's give time for the recovery. Let them go currently for the prosecution and the conviction. Then the recovery will follow.
But you mentioned that there were no ghost names, and I'll come to you, Council Bracco Power, so that we wrap up this conversation. But I want to just stay with you, Mr. Jimega, on the ghost names. For Gifty, for one, if you read the charges, it says investigations reveal that the accused person did not apply any products on hire purchase to any NSP, and that the 9,934 names she gave to ADB and Gibbs were ghost names she generated from the NSA CMS.
Yes, I am talking about the ghost names where they were paid. If you pay attention,
so there were ghost names where people were paid, and then she generated ghost names to receive.
Yes, that's what we saw from the beginning.
What about Mr. Sibientri as well? Because there's a mention of ghost names as well on his case, and I would just want to read that as well, just briefly. But you were seeking to explain the Gifsiowari ghost name instances.
The best in the morning.
Oh, you're seeking to read it yourself.
No, I thought you said you were talking to him, so that's why.
Oh no.
Yes.
I'm
okay.
still
Let me get the question again.
So I'm asking. You had mentioned that this is not the ghost names, but there's a mention of ghost names as well in her charge sheet, and the fact that she used these ghost names to secure part of the money she took from the bank.
Yes, what I was saying is that the ghost names of the ones that the National Service Scheme paid monies to, not the ones that they used to secure the loan, the ones that they paid money to, that was not captured here. If you pay attention to what the Media Foundation for West Africa and the Fourth Estate put out there, where we even found names of somebody from Kenya, etc. They are talking about the fact that they were paid monies as if they were doing national service. That is the one I'm talking about, not the ones that they have used the names for. And in any case, the charge is more about stealing. It is not about using the money to pay somebody else. It's about stealing. So you've taken money on behalf of some people, and the people have not received the money. That is all the charge about.
But Mr. Osasibe, in fact, the first count, causing financial loss to the Republic, the particulars of the offence read that Osasibe between August 2021 and February 2025, woefully caused financial loss of 500 million belonging to National Service Authority by authorizing payment of allowances to in excess of 60,000 non-existent goods National Service
I take
personnel.
that one back. Okay, now I was looking at that of Gifty, yes. So you see,
and you still maintain this is watertight and straightforward.
Yes, because the people are not there. You get it. That is the causing financial loss. So the causing financial loss law is about the fact that anything that involves the state, that you have acted on behalf of the state, and you have acted willfully or negligently, that law led to the state losing some money. That is causing financial loss. So you have acted in a state in a way that is negligently or willfully causing the loss to the state. That is causing financial loss.
Do we have details of where some of these monies are? Because I asked this question specifically because the Attorney General in that earlier press conference we played suggested that e-switch card had been found in the home of Mr. Sibientri, which was linked to the collection of some of these monies. It was going to be used as exhibit amongst many others. Do you have it on authority or on good word whether or not there is a tab on where some of these monies are in terms of being able to recover them subsequently?
No, I don't have that. But if the card is obtained, and
I say that on record because I heard the Attorney General mention that when the searches were conducted in his home, there was a card which had an excess of 2 million cedis, if I'm not mistaken, on the card, and had been directly linked to one of the recipients in terms of receiving money from the ghost names.
Yes, what will happen is that will be seized, the bank will be notified, and no further transactions will take place on that card. So that money will be held as evidence, and you can't use it. So that will be presented to the court as part of the evidence that is needed for the prosecution. So that will be there. However, you see, we operate in a system where we use a lot of physical cash instead of electronic and etc., where you can trace. But I believe that there will be investigations to trace. If we want to take even into consideration some of the things we read about Osea Sibe, that he made donations to a church, towards a church building, or church was built in the memory of the mother, etc. And you go in and the person cannot account for where they got the monies to build such a church. You indirectly say that, hey, that means that if you are convicted, this is where the money went. However, are we able to use the church to recover the church and sell the church to get some money? No, such a thing is gone. But if we are able to trace other assets, and you are able to say that, hey, by lifestyle auditing, you had 1 CD every month, and you cannot account for how you got this, then we can go for some of those assets.
Right. Let me just pick final thoughts as well from you, Mr. Bracco Powers, as we round up on this particular one.
I think in all honesty, I'm impressed with the way the government is going after former appointees. At least it injects some level of sanity into the system. But I have always asked for balance. And we must not gloss over the sins of our own people. And as for the president, I know there is someone who will not shield an appointee office, because he has a track record of, releasing them to law enforcement agencies. But we want to see more of that, and we want them to manage expectations. As for going after former appointees, as for the last 8 years, it was a messy system, and we want to see a sanitized system. But as for recovery, I think the government can go for recovery and still go for jail time. Give those people jail time.
As in they can do that concurrently and not necessarily wait for prosecutions to come to an end.
No, the thing is that I agree with my learned colleague, because at the moment you have to let them establish that indeed those monies are with them, because the government has made those claims. The court will test to determine or establish its authenticity. Then, through the powers of the court, the government can get back some of the money, or even all the money, and still give those people jail time. We can go for the two concurrently, or we can also go for one, then in the end we go for the other one. It depends on, don't forget that Attorney General has the sole power to decide how to approach it. We can suggest, but he knows the fire, and he knows how hot the fire is. So I want to trust his judgment. But like I always say, he's a leader of the bar, and I just pray that, because whatever he says, we respect him. And people take whatever he says. So he must balance, the need for Ghanaians to know, and also the nuances of our system, our legal system, so that everybody will understand what is going on, and without arriving at a conclusion. But Mawuena, let me say, this is a major boost for the oral agenda, and we want to see more of such prosecutions initiated in our courts. Right,
Counsel, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we'll go for one final break here on the 3FM Sunrise. When you return, we'll switch lanes and talk the Ketekrachi boat incident. 15 individuals unfortunately lost their lives, 11 of which we understand were children. There were no life jackets aboard. This is not the first time we're seeing this happen. The big question remains why we continue to see it happen, why there's not been national learning in terms of having things change. We get into that right after these.